Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. I wanted to do just a fun little Lightning Collection video today, thinking about the releases for the future, since we've gotten quite a few Lightning Collection figures this year. I mean, the year's not even up, who knows, we could get more. Like, I'm almost expecting at least one more just because of how it's been, but honestly, we got way more than I initially expected. I thought that we were just going to probably get the first wave and maybe an exclusive, and it's been kind of a nice surprise. I kind of wanted to look at what my personal picks are for a figure for each season. What's like the top figure I want to see out of each season. I'd also like to know your guys' picks. Let me know in the comments. You don't have to tell me every season unless you want to disappoint me. You can just say, you know, some of your favorite seasons, but just let me know what your top picks are. I have them pretty much narrowed down to one. There might be a couple where I mention, you know, what the alternate one would be, but you know, this is my video, I make the rules. And I think I have at least one or two dual packs just because it made sense. For MMPR, I did it kind of weird because there's 3 seasons, so I didn't do one for season 2 because 1 and 2, there's so much overlap. And I don't have a lot of villains on there because outside of main villains, I don't really care about getting very many villains, if I'm being honest. But so for MMPR Season 1, kind of a basic choice, but since it's my favorite suit, I do just want to see a regular MMPR Black. Pretty much one of the most boring picks on the list because it's not something super exciting. We're already getting the armored one. All you gotta do is take off the armor. But that is what I want to see because that's my favorite suit, and I'd like to just see that version of the character. So instead of doing MMPR Season 2, I skipped straight to Season 3, and I'd love to see Ninjor. I think that would be a unique release. It's not quite a ranger, but it's an ally, and it's a character we don't really get figures of often, and I think it would be a nice one. I feel like that would probably be something that would be an exclusive or something like that. Also, as a side note, I think it would be cool to get some of the Ninja Mode figures or something like that as well. So instead of doing Season 1, 2, 3, I did pick for Alien Rangers, which would be, for me personally, Sestro. That was always my favorite Alien Ranger character, and I like the suit. For some reason, like, the suits are all pretty similar, but for whatever reason, I've always liked Alien Blue's suit. Something about the lighter shade of blue I would just find kind of interesting. For Zeo, I have kind of a basic pick, which is Zeo Ranger 5. I know, oh, too much Tommy, but I've always leaned a little towards Zeo Ranger 5 in terms of the suits. I could kind of go back and forth, but mainly I want to do a Fighting Spirit display. Like, we have White Ranger, we have Fighting Spirit Green. I'd love to have Red to complete that display, not just because it would be cool, but also in the meantime, while we're waiting, I just had an accent there, in the meantime, while we're waiting for full teams of MMPR and Zeo to display with, you can have like a Fighting Spirit display in the meantime, and I think that's kind of a cool idea. Next up for Turbo, kind of a generic choice too, but Phantom Ranger. Even though I've never been as huge on the Phantom Ranger as some people, I still think it's more of a unique release of something we don't get so often. And I do think it's cool that we actually made a more bigger deal out of his character than Car Ranger did. For In Space, nothing too revolutionary, but I really want a TJ figure. Blue Ranger TJ, obviously. It wouldn't be Red Ranger because this is in space. But he's my favorite. He's my personal favorite In Space Ranger, one of my favorite Rangers of all time, so I really want a figure for him. And I'm not gonna lie, I would probably be the type of person, I'd wait for a sale, but to pick up 5 to recreate that scene from when they were trying to trick Psycho Blue. For Lightspeed, or like Lost Speed Rescue, for Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, I would personally pick Pink Ranger Crone, because again, Crone's one of my favorite Rangers. I think it would be cool to get, it would be even cooler if they somehow included 2 alternate heads, and you could have Astronema as an alternate head that sort of homaged that scene from Legendary Battle where they superimposed it from the extended cut, which was weird. But I'd like to have a figure of that version of the character, and probably an Astronema character too, so you can have a display of those 2. I think that would be pretty neat. For Lightspeed Rescue, even though I've never been the hugest fan of the character, I think Titanium Ranger would be cool because I always want to support more US exclusive suit stuff getting priority, and it is a neat suit. Otherwise though, I would like to see Joel, mainly because I want the alternate head to have, if it doesn't have the cowboy hat as the alternate head, I send it back. And for Time Force, I have one of my few villain picks, which is Rancic, because I like that it was a US creation. I mean, I like Rancic in general, but it was a US creation, and I think it would be cool to give that a bit of attention instead of just another Red or 6th. For Wild Force, my first 2-pack, which would be a Lunar Wolf and Zenaku set, I think that would make 100% sense and be kind of perfect. For Ninja Storm, I would do the Thunder Rangers, because justice for Thunder Rangers, they got shortchanged out of the Legacy line. Like, literally that would have been so easy to just fit the 2 of them in somewhere. I love the suits in general, but I think that with the trend of Lightning Collection almost having backhanded slaps to Legacy Collection, that would be neat if one of Ninja Storm's first releases was that, since they never got to that. For Dino Thunder, this is probably a pretty obvious pick for me if you're familiar with me at all, but I would pick the White Drago Ranger because that's my favorite suit of all time. I would love to see Lightning's take on it. Similar for SPD, the Omega Ranger also has always been my favorite from those suits, even though I like a lot of the SPD suits, and we already got in Deca Master, so that's cool, but Omega Ranger I think would be on the top of my list for that. For Mystic Force, I almost wanted to pick Solaris Knight, but I think I would go with Korag because I just love that suit so much. Honestly, I'm not sure if it would be too samey for them to do that, but I wouldn't even mind, since even though it would be the same figure, doing a Korag Wolf Warrior 2-pack, I think that would be pretty sweet, especially since we never got a Wolf Warrior figure here in the US. For Overdrive, I didn't even pick an Overdrive Ranger. It's not an Overdrive dig or anything because I actually really like the Bokenger suits. But I really, really, really want the MMPR Black with Defender Vest suit figure. I think that's a really cool US thing we did here. I would probably make a good exclusive. That would make sense as something that's some sort of retailer or con exclusive. But I think that would be a really unique and cool release. For Jungle Fury, it was kind of tough for me to pick because I like a lot of Jungle Fury suits and characters, and I love the Spirit Rangers so much, but I have to go with Wolf Warrior just because RJ is my all-time favorite Ranger, and I do love the suit, and I think I would just prioritize that. And I still stand by the Jungle Fury Bandai figures being solid all around. Although the Master versions were a little bit more wobbly. Am I alone in liking the original, like, Elephant Bat Shark Rangers better than the Master modes, which we actually got? I don't know. But I would have to pick Wolf Ranger, even though it would be kind of a tough pick, because there's a lot of the suits from that I'd like to see. For RPM, I would pick the gold and silver, they would call it the Boom Time pack. Perfect. Do some sort of exclusive pack. You don't have to be an exclusive pack. But when I say exclusive, I don't even necessarily mean con exclusive. I mean like one of these, like the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger or the Lost Galaxy set where it shows up like GameStop and Best Buy and stuff. For Samurai, I would personally pick Lauren because Lauren is one of my favorite characters in Samurai. I like Lauren in general. But also I want to do actually, you know, I want to pick Jen too for Time Force because in retrospect, I want to do a Team Shattered Grid display with the 5 Mighty Morphin Rangers and then Jen and Lauren. I really want a Team Shattered Grid display. So, I mean, I like Lauren in general, so I'd want her as my pick without Shattered Grid, but I think it would be really cool to be able to do a Team Shattered Grid display. For Megaforce, the answer is obvious. Robo Knight 2-pack. You can do Robo Knight alone, that'd be great too, but you know, you gotta pay tribute to the greatest romance of all time in Power Rangers. For Super Megaforce, I think I would just pick Super Megaforce Red because Dempella Lips. I just like Gokai Red suit the best. Like, any of them would be fine. Like, Gia would be cool too because she's probably my favorite of the bunch, I don't know, but I think I just always liked Red suit the best, so I just kind of picked that one. For Dino Charge, I had a couple different choices, but I think ultimately Talon makes the most sense because, Dark Ranger, excuse me, because we never got a figure for him. He was just in the comics. That would be cool. It would be neat actually if we did a Dark Ranger and the Dark Ranger Solar Ranger costume 2-pack. Like, that would be kind of cool if we did that in general. Like, with Magna Defender, they talked about how they might do Mike's head later, and I can't think of a way you'd do a variant that was worth it unless you released that, so. But Talon Ranger, I would kind of also want maybe like a Tauren Silver Ranger 2-pack since we never got a Tauren figure, but since we never got anything for Dark Ranger, that makes the most sense to me. For Ninja Steel, I actually want a red Miek figure because it would be cool to have a Kelson Henderson PR figure. And we did get that one exclusive 6-pack one, but I mainly want it for the alternate head. Like, that's driving a lot of these. Like, if we didn't have the alternate heads, I'd probably pick like Star Ninja or something. But since we have the alternate heads, I think that would be a much more fun pick. And for Beast Morphers, I think that, I mean, you want to say, you know, Team Roxy, that would be cool to get a figure for her, but I'd really like to see a figure of that Make-A-Wish Tyler Orange Ranger figure because I think that would be a neat thing to do, and I really like the suit, and I think it would be a unique release to somehow pop in somewhere, so that would be my pick for Beast Morphers. Last two things we have here for picks is Hyperforce. To be honest, I would love to see figures for the whole Hyperforce team, but if I had to pick one, I gotta go with my girl Vesper, mainly because she's my favorite character, but also I think of the suits, she has my favorite helmet because I think that the way they did the 3 heads on the helmet design was really cool and unique. And lastly, just for kind of a blanket comic release choice, not comic relief, comic release, I think it would be neat, again, as an exclusive of some sort. It could be con exclusive, it could be a store exclusive. It doesn't have to be exclusive, I'm just saying some of these feel like something they would do as an exclusive. But I would like to see a Draken Evolution pack. I think we already got a solid speculation that one of the regular releases are just going to be standard Draken. But it would be really cool to get the Draken Evolution 1, 2, 3 set. I think that would be a really easy sell. That would be super neat. Anyway, that's it for my list. Again, let me know in the comments what your guys' list is. You don't have to list every season if you don't want to, just kind of your top ones, but I think it would be fun to sort of think about what we want to see from them and see what's plausible. And until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get notifications from my videos, and check out my shirt store in the description. Till next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.